Hello, and welcome to the Violet Hour podcast. I'm Nicole,
And Dennis.
and this is a podcast about what inspires wonder.
From the mysterious to that mundane.
So, this is our first podcast, and we're just trying to figure out how we're going to do this. We have been brainstorming podcast names for a couple months. We've been talking about doing a podcast for
a year.
No longer, since Elena was longer when we were in Miami. So anyway, a few years ago, we knew we wanted to do a podcast, and timing was just off, and life, and we couldn't figure out
Pandemic,
which I guess for most people would have been a perfect time to start podcasting, but for us, we actually got really busy volunteering and doing things to use our talents in positive ways, I guess you could say. So we put this on the back burner, and then a few months ago we started really deciding, if we're going to do this, we need to do it now.
Yes.
So this morning I kind of just said, what about the Violet Hour? And you're like, ooh, I like that, which was cool because we hadn't come to a consensus on podcast names, right?
That, and also there's a lot of podcast names that
Are already taken,
but also are kind of similar. So whatever you will come up with, someone will have it already, or there'll be some sort of identical, similar name or title with just a minor little change or twist to it.
So among the thousands of podcasts that are out there, here we are, just one more. But we hope to stick around. That's the goal, and we hope you will enjoy what we're going to create. Topics will include things like supernatural, really cool things, things that interest us.
Short stories,
people doing interesting things today and from the past. History, we love history.
Yep.
And I think because the Violet Hour can be kind of construed as something sad, like the end of a day, or something positive, like the end of a day, a really hard day. And it's also drinking hour for some, 5 o'clock. So,
especially on Thursday.
So we're going to share, I love making cocktails or coming up with new drinks. So we're going to share what we're drinking. And it may be something alcoholic, something non-alcoholic, a smoothie, stuff like that. So right now we're drinking a French wine called
Gérard.
Okay, the brand is Gérard Bertrand Grand Terroir. I don't know.
2017.
It's from Tautavel. I have no idea. I'll post a picture in the show notes and on our blog, which can be found at
thevioletpodcast.com or violetpodcast.com.
And you can find our social media handles on there. And if you'd like to support this endeavor of ours, our Patreon, which will include some really cool things like car decals and T-shirts and stickers, and maybe some cool content like us actually preparing the cocktails.
Yeah,
or,
food prep, drinks, mixed drinks, and things.
So about us, you want to share a little bit about? Sorry to interrupt you. You want to share a little bit about ourselves?
If you like.
You go first.
Not too much. Don't like to share too much.
So I'm a pretty public person. I've been blogging since 2006, off and on. And my husband, Dennis, we are married for 21 years. We celebrated our 21st anniversary this week. Yay! Happy anniversary, babes.
Yeah.
You want to share about you, or you want to talk about you?
I really don't like talking about myself, but I'm military, been in active service for over 21 years here this upcoming month. I am super excited to work on this podcast. I've been thinking about what to talk about. There are topics that I'm constantly just blabbering about or talking about, and then there's also topics that I'm also researching, and I'm always seeing and listening on other type of social media. But history is a huge one for me and for the kids too. My oldest, he loves history. He's a big history geek. So hopefully he'll take part on the podcast with us, and he'll provide us some of his insight of some of his research and work that he's done for school, or hopefully hearing when he attends college, some research and work that he might do for college.
Yeah, and can we talk about that? Like, so we need a win this week, like even if it's just a baby win.
Yeah.
January has been a really hard month.
Yeah. I would say the last 4 months have been a very hard month. Very hard time for us. So for us, not just us, but for the family in general, it's been a tough 4 months. So I'm thinking, I mean, tomorrow is the end of January. I mean, January 31st is tomorrow. I mean, we're recording this today, the 30th.
2022.
Yeah, 2022. So it's kind of crazy that we already crushed a month out of the year. And it's kind of... But
we're not claiming it.
Yeah, I'm not claiming it right now.
We're not claiming it. We just needed a small win because, I had a miscarriage earlier in the month. And then our oldest is having a mental health challenge. And so no one talks about that stuff. Like, when you have a baby, they give you all the advice. But, like, raising teenagers is kind of hard. Even though our kids are, like, really easy. We have 3 kids, 17, 13, and 4. And they're pretty awesome. At least we think they are. So,
they are.
I don't know that we'll be talking about, like, heavy topics like that, but we do want to share stuff that you might be experiencing or understanding too. So if you've ever had to deal with a mental health challenge, my heart goes out to you, especially if it's with one of your kids. So topics.
So one of the main thing is that, I mean, some of them will be coming from us, but we would love to hear from you guys, especially any type of inspiring stories or wonders. Also some mysterious stories. I know there's a lot. There's a lot of good mysterious stories. I know for myself, I'm originally from the Caribbean.
We're in the Caribbean, babes.
I like to be mysterious. Part of the podcast, be mysterious. But I'm from the Dominican Republic, and I just got called out. But one of the things that one of the topic of short story is I came across a book by a Spaniard monk or priest named Bartolome de las Casas, and what it is a list of short accounts of the destruction of the Indies. I'm gonna read some of it, not in the near future. So hopefully it'll be kind of like a separate topic of stories related to that book, and pretty much go through it. It covers a lot, the Caribbean, part of Central America, and then some details on there in reference to what he saw during the time of Christopher Columbus and the conquistadors. It's an interesting account from the eyes of someone during that time, and it was actually translated by let's see here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to grab the details of the translator. It was edited and translated by Nigel Griffin, and the introduction was by Anthony Pagden, and it's actually a Penguin classic book. So it's very interesting. I was talking to my oldest about it. I didn't show him the description of the pictures, but there's some drawings in this book that are pretty gruesome and pretty intense. Yeah. In reference to some of the punishment that allegedly were conducted by the Spanish conquistadors against the natives in the Caribbean and in the Americas. It's sad, but all we can do, I mean, in the end, what we do is we learn from our history, we learn from our past, and
do better.
And we do better. We never want to. We don't want to hide what happened in the past, because once you hide what happened in the past, in the end, it always comes out. It always comes out.
So is that an upcoming story we can look forward to by you?
Yeah, so
You're going to read the book?
So that'll be something. I know. That'll be something. That'll be something
So I need to get you the audio version?
That'll be something that I'll be reading through. And I'm thinking of, right now I'm actually thinking of going through the short accounts. There's a lot of different accounts. Some are longer than other. Like an example is called Hispaniola is one of them, where I'm actually from. Hispaniola and the Kingdom in Hispaniola. But also they have one related to the island of Puerto Rico and Jamaica. And then you have Cuba, the mainland, Nicaragua,
really cool.
New Spain, Guatemala, Spain, Panuco, and Jalisco, the Yucatan Peninsula, Santa Marta, Cartagena. And then they have some what's called the Pearl Coast, Paria and Trinidad. And there's more and more, even Venezuela and the mainland in the region known as Florida. So there's some stuff on here that this individual Bartolome de la Casas captured during his time while traveling the Caribbean, that he talked about some of the atrocity that occur during that time, and some of them are gruesome, some of them are sad. Everyone is kind of like, oh, the Caribbean is so beautiful and this and that, and I agree.
Has a pretty dark history.
But the Caribbeans also have a pretty dark history. As some of you may know, I mean, once we go through this, I might go through some of the which was called the slave trade. That was part of the Caribbean. The Caribbeans were considered part of the slave trade from Africa into the Americas. So how they were transported from South Africa through the Caribbean and then into the Americas. So we might also cover that.
So when you cover this, could you also share some of the stories from like when you were a kid in Santo Domingo, things you would do?
I mean, it's not going to relate to what we're talking about,
matter.
but I can somewhat,
I think they're really
I would say, talk about growing up. I mean, I only lived there till I was 7. I mean, I grew up until I was 7 years old. I went back not too long ago, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago.
Right before the pandemic.
And I was gone, before the pandemic. And I was gone for over 20 plus years. So, and of course, a lot of things have changed. The challenges that the country is going through, the Hispaniola between the Dominicans and the Haitian, there's a huge debate and a huge battle between both countries and both culture. And even just Haiti itself is having its own personal challenges, which to me is so sad.
Mm-hmm. Talk about a rough decade.
It's one of the poorest country in the Americas, Haiti. A lot of people don't know that, but it's seriously one of the poorest country in the Americas, and it's one of those countries that really has been devastated by, I mean, you name it, between
earthquakes.
I mean, natural disasters, government, uprisings. I mean, it's been rough for the Haitians, I have to say.
Okay, so
and they're kind of considered, to me, the Haitian people are, for us Dominicans, I mean, even though some of them might not agree, but they're technically our brothers and sisters in the end, because we do come from, I mean,
the same land.
We all are part of the same territory. Hispaniola might be one end, and then Haiti might be the other side. But in the end, we're all from the same island, so the same territory.
Beautifully said. So, you know what? I guess we should also say that I'm originally from Miami, Florida. That's where we met. I'm Cuban, Scotch-Irish descent, so we both speak Spanish. And we've gotten to live in some pretty amazing places, you especially, with your service. So I think, in addition, when you share these stories, we should share either a Cuban or a Dominican dish or something like that.
Yeah, so that's something that's gonna be amazing for some of our Patreon folks. So we'll be able to we'll have recipes on there, things that we can share for you guys, and maybe some other pretty neat, awesome things.
Because,
so we're looking forward to it.
Dennis's love language is cooking.
Yes, it is.
Mine, not so much.
Wine.
Wine is my love language. Okay, so in addition to history and the Caribbean and Española and all of that, so we'll be sharing, like I said, I think I'll go more into like supernatural or like really cool.
Well, as you all know, the Caribbeans, where I'm from, again, when you talk about, I use the Caribbean, but this is more of, so when we're talking about the Dominican Republic and Haiti, we're talking about, there's some mysteries behind Santeria, voodoo. So, and then when you're talking about the Americas, there's also, a lot of mysterious things. So it will be interesting to speak to some of our family and friends. I am actually looking forward to getting some information from them. I have some hilarious stories from my family. There's the stories about a snake that sounds like a chicken or like a rooster or something like that. I can't remember, but I think I want to say my aunt and uncle were kind of messing with us when they were telling us this. But at the same time, I can honestly tell you it scared the crap out of me because the way that they said it, they were like, "Oh no, in el campo, in the farm, you'll hear the sound of a rooster, of a hen, but you know that they go to sleep after certain hours in the day." So when you hear this, that means that it's a snake with the sound of a rooster, the snake that's calling you.
Crazy.
So it gets kind of creepy, like the things that they tell us. And of course, like I know my fellow South Latin America people, we have this thing called el cuco, which the American people, or el cacao, so the American people call it the boogeyman. So, or la llorona. So there's different stories that we have and we're told by our families and friends, related to some of these mysterious creatures and things that are out there. I mean, we've traveled the world, so my wife and I, we've been to certain part of the world that we can actually hopefully do some research and honestly give you some information about some other mystery, like in Italy, or stories about things that happen in the mountains, in the Dolomites, or in Spain, or in Austria. Like there's different spooky, scary stories. So,
and if you have any stories you'd like to share with us and have us perhaps share on this podcast, just check out our website, the Violet Hour, not the Violet Hour podcast.com, and hit that contact button and just send us an email. And if we share your story on the podcast, be sure to let us know if we can share your name or not.
Or provide us the name that you would like for us to use.
Like El Cuco.
Like, whatever you like. So that way we can, we are looking forward to making this successful and hopefully sharing it. The main thing is to share all of you guys' experience with everyone else, with families and friends, and we're looking forward to hearing from you guys. And that's all I have on my side.
Oh, you shared a lot.
I know. That was not my intent. Not my intent.
All right. So for my very humble guy who does not like to talk about himself.
Really do not.
He, I think you said enough. So I think we can just close this first kind of sort of practice episode.
Yeah.
Where
this
we're
introductory episode.
Trying to figure our podcast life out. But I guess we do hope to share stories or podcasts at least twice a week, starting next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to...
Hopefully, the more we get, the more we can share. It'll be exciting.
And if you have any stories that you'd like us to share or any ideas, we definitely want to hear about them. And again, you can hit us up on social media. You can find all the links on our blog, violethourpodcast.com. And I guess, cheers.
Have a good night and chin chin.
Chin chin.